Travis Hunter and Coach Prime need to do more to secure this Heisman Trophy for him, with Ashton Jenty set to, well, make a splash on Friday night? Let's talk about it. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If you're new to the #1 college football show channel, please hit the subscribe button. We just went over 120,000 subscribers, and it'd be very cool to get to 121,000 subscribers before we finish this all-important championship weekend, where we're going to talk through at some point throughout this week what all these conference championships can lead to for the 12-team college football playoff. But in part, that's got to do with Ashton Jenty and Boise State. It doesn't have much to do with Colorado and Travis Hunter. And I wanted to do this now because I realize that I'm either preaching to the choir or you think that I'm absolutely crazy. Maybe it's a bit of both, because if you think that I'm preaching to the choir, you're going, RJ, Travis Hunter's done more than enough to win the Heisman Trophy, and you have been telling us that for some time. He's got 92 catches for 1,152 yards, 14 TDs, and that's just as a receiver. He is a Biletnikoff Award finalist, and he might damn well walk away with the trophy. You are crazy to think that you still have more to do, or that he still has more to do, or Prime still has more to do to secure this Heisman Trophy for him the next Saturday when they bestow the Stiff Arm Trophy, for which Travis Hunter has been posing for. On the other hand, if you are in the camp that Ashton Jenty has done more than enough or enough to win the Heisman Trophy, you also kind of think that I'm crazy. You think that a dude that has rushed for over 2,200 yards in 12 regular season games, who needs just 341 yards to break Barry Sanders' single-season rushing record, and has already rushed for a ton of TDs and has his team playing for a conference championship while Colorado does not, that's his Heisman Trophy. You're just mad because Travis Hunter is not being considered for what he has done, which is unprecedented, and that is the rub here. I told you about his receiving stats, right? He's also has 4 interceptions, but it isn't 4 interceptions in spot duty. He is going both ways, like you read about, like we dream about, playing the sport. His stamina, his recovery, all these things go back into it, and he hasn't missed a game. He's missed parts of games, but he hasn't been out for anything of any real significance, and when it's been crunch time, he's had Heisman moments. He's been able to go make plays, particularly in the passing game. And oh, by the way, in a game that Colorado needed to win to keep themselves in a position to control their own fate, he went and had a forced fumble against Baylor at the goal line, and he's a cornerback. So he's got a forced fumble to go with those 4 interceptions and those 14 receiving touchdowns and those 1,100 yards receiving and those 92 catches that he has. And his quarterback, in large part, has benefited from that, right? So we got all that. But I'm also going to just remind you that there is a way for Ashton Jenty to kind of swoop in and take this. And one of the ways that he can do this is by going ham on Friday night against UNLV, okay? You would tell me that if you're against the Travis Hunter thing, that they only won 9 games and UNLV won 10. Well, I would say we don't even care about Colorado because of Prime and Travis Hunter winning 9 games, right? On that, you're also looking at a 1-loss Boise State team whose only loss is to the #1 team in the country, who is the only remaining undefeated team in the country, and it had to come on the final play of the game in part because, well, Ashton Jenty went for 192 yards against Oregon. So, going into this game, I'm going to tell you what Prime and Hunter are up against. It's not just Ashton Jenty, and I know that Dirk Cotter, who was up for the Royals Award, is going to feed that man the rock as many times as he possibly can, okay? I also know that this game is going to be on Fox, which is not to say that it's just going to be on a network that I work for. It's going to be over the air. It means that as many people want to watch it can, and in that window on Friday night, it's probably going to be more people than you expect watching a Mountain West Championship game because it's going to be there, and you're going to be waiting on the SEC Championship game the following night, the CBS Championship game the following night, right? The Big 12 Championship the following morning, ACC Championship the following night. Like, these all work for Ashton Jenty and Boise State, to say nothing of where the College Football Playoff Selection Committee is going to put them, because right now they're in position to be one of the 4 highest-ranked conference champions as you're watching the segment before they do their Tuesday night reveal. Also adding here that with a huge game, And with Barry Sanders' name right next to Ashton Jeanty, he could swoop in and do this. So if for some reason he goes Herculean, goes into God mode, right? Unkillable. And he goes for over 341 yards, and he breaks Barry Sanders' single-season rushing record. Nobody's going to remember that Barry did this in 11 games or against Big 8 competition. They're going to remember that Ashton Jeanty rushed for more yards than Barry Sanders did in his Heisman winning season in 1988. And for perspective, I went ahead and just pulled out some names that I thought would be comparable to what Ashton Jeanty has done so far. And one of those, of course, is Barry Sanders, and I point that out. But the other ones that I wanted to point out to you are Derrick Henry, who in 2015, through the entire season, 395 rushes for 2,219 yards in 2015, won the Heisman Trophy. Right now, Ashton Jeanty's carried the ball fewer times with more yards, right? 344 rushes for 2288 versus 395 to 2219. I'm going to tell you what I've been saying for some time. Derrick Henry did this against SEC competition. You put Ashton Jeanty in the SEC, I think you're probably going to get the numbers that Quinshon Judkins had as a freshman, which is not terrible by any stretch. It's going to go for 1,500 yards. But 22? Maybe. To which you might go, okay, so what about that Oregon game? Exactly, right? We'll never know, but that is the argument that I would give back. That would be the one. So knowing all of that, why does that matter? Why is it important that Ashton Jeanty's getting to play for a conference championship and Colorado and Travis Hunter are not? Well, one, championships matter, right? You're on a winning team. You're on a winning team that wins championships. You got a better chance of winning an MVP, which is, our Heisman. The other one is you're playing football where people can see you. And what people are going to have to remember is what Colorado and Travis Hunter were doing last week, 52-0 against Oklahoma State. Like, the way I look at this is you probably don't know that Ashton Jeanty went for 226 rushing yards against Oregon State last week, because you do know that Travis Hunter had like 9 catches for 151 or something against Oklahoma State, right? You do know that Colorado was on TV. I think the reason that Travis Hunter and Prime need to be out and about and talking about this, and also we need to continue to talk about what this dude has done, is because that can get lost. It can get lost because I watched Kyler Murray swoop in, have a really great game against Texas in a Big 12 championship, and Tua Tagovailoa not have a great game and walk away with a Heisman Trophy in 2018. For the whole year, thought that was going to be Tua's trophy, and then Kyler had a game of games where Jalen Hurts needed to come off the bench to help them out, and there you go, right? Kyler Murray's got the Heisman Trophy. So being inactive or not having much to say or even playing badly can also lead to us changing how people view this thing going into the weekend. I look at this the way that you might look at walking around Vegas, okay? If you're walking around Vegas, or you're walking around the French Quarter, or you're walking around anywhere where there are people that are barking at you, that are offering you stuff, that are telling you what this place is about, what you can get, how you can do it, what all has been done, is it annoying? Yes, but that's also called selling. That's how salesmen work, right? I often think of what I do and what many others do as part of that. So the psychology of this being, you've heard people say it only takes one person to say yes to the thing that you want them to say, even if you get a million no's. Flip that. What if it took a million yeses and one no could be enough to say, no, we're no longer doing this? I think looking at it that way is important. Okay? I think looking at it that way is important. I think that if you are Prime, use the engine that you have built, right? And Travis Hunter, use the engine that you have built. It's not just well-off media, which is great, by the way. And it's not just Travis Hunter's YouTube channel, which is great, by the way. It's also Prime being here and there and doing all these spots that other coaches are going to be doing, trying to lobby for their teams to get in the college football playoff. And even things like what Shane Beamer was doing, which I thought was wild because he thinks that Lenore Sellers is the best player in the sport, but that's his quarterback, and I expect that from him. Prime has said this. Prime said he clinched the Heisman Trophy after the Oklahoma State game. That's true. He needs to say it again and again and again. And I need to remind folks just how singular Travis Hunter has been. As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to write a big, long essay about this because people keep trying to equate him to someone else in the sport, like Champ Bailey, like Chris Gamble, like Charles Woodson. He is leaps and bounds ahead of anything that they could do. And he is doing exactly what we all dreamed that they could do. And that in and of itself is worthy of the Heisman. But if you need production, I'll leave you with this stat that I don't think anybody's going to touch anytime soon. Travis Hunter is not just the first player in FBS, but the first player in Power 4 to have 1,000 yards receiving, at least 10 touchdowns, at least 2 interceptions in the same season. And he's the first one to do that in damn near ever. And I'm also looking at this going, who else could do that? Well, maybe there's some, but have they? Will they? And are we not going to honor Prime's commitment to Travis and, quite frankly, courage and bravery and letting that dude just play and play and play and play? I love football. I love this doofy sport. Spend my entire life talking about it. It's for stuff like this. Let's honor that. Travis Hunter, he is the Heisman Trophy winner. Heisman voters, don't be stupid.